Okay, hello. I think we are good to go. Let's get a screen share up in here. Okay, hello everyone. How are you doing? Thank you very much for coming out. Can you do the usual thing? Can you just confirm that you can see my screen okay? You should be able to see like a presentation saying November update 2021. You should be able to hear my voice. Hello Joel. Hello Stephen. Excellent. Hello Mark. Good to see everyone here. So a couple of new things happening this time. So I'm going to ask a couple of favors for you guys as well, or from you guys. Basically, this is the first time that I've used Zoom for a webinar for doing one of these calls. Like usually we use like GoToWebinar for this stuff. That's been like our standard for years. I don't even remember when I started using it. I'm not going to think of that. It's going to make me feel old. But this is the first time that we're using Zoom for webinars. Obviously, like I've used Zoom for like video calls before, but this is the first actual webinar I've done with it. So first, if you've gone to one of our webinars before, like if you could let us know like what the quality is like at your end, like how it compares to like GoToWebinar as like a viewer, like that'd be really good to know. And also just an apology in advance, like since this is the first time I've used Zoom as a webinar tool, just an apology in advance if I accidentally do something stupid and like switch everything off. I'm going to try very hard not to do that. But if everything does like just short out in the middle, that's why. It's because I'm an idiot with a new system. So cool. How is everyone doing today? I see it's the first time for a few of you guys as well. That's good. I always like having new people in there. So yeah, another thing we've got with Zoom that we don't have with GoToWebinar is like a general chat box, which I think everyone can see that. Um, like with GoToWebinar, like basically I'm the only one who can see the messages. I'm pretty certain everyone can see what goes in the chat on this one. Possibly someone can confirm that as well. Yes, Steve, good to know. So yes, do feel free to use the chat. There is also a specific question and answer box. Like that's what I'll keep an eye on for like questions that come up. Please do use it. Like use it on the way through. If you've got any questions about like if you've got any questions about what we like what you're seeing on the screen, like if there's something you'd like me to demonstrate again, um, if there's if there's something where I'm going a bit too fast, then like do feel free to stick a question in there, and I'll keep an eye on that chat. I'll keep an eye on the questions and try to keep up with those as the webinar is going on. If you've got a general question about Convertri, then please do ask the question. I'm more than happy to answer it. If you want to know like if there's a feature we're going to or planning on developing, if you want to know how to do a certain thing that I'm not actively talking about at the time, please do ask the question. I'll deal with all those like at the Q&A section at the end. Cool. And we have like a few questions come up in the chat box already. Catherine has asked, will we get a copy of the deck? We don't generally give out the slide deck. I mean, the slide deck for these webinars is very, very short. This is going to be almost entirely like a screen share demo. But there will be a recording of the call that will go up in the knowledge base. And that'll be just available for you to watch for as long as you want. That'll probably go up early next week. They normally go up on the Monday or Tuesday after. And obviously in the next update email that you get, you'll have a link to the recording of this call. And yeah, cool. We will crack on with the run through now. And yeah, like I say, if you've got like an actual question, if you can use like the actual question and answer panel for that, that'd be great. Just so I can keep them like separate and easy to answer and easy to keep track of as well. The chat here is quite active. It's going to be quite difficult to keep track of all the questions that come up in there. I will do my best, but it's going to be easier for me to find them if they're in that little Q&A box. Okay, so first of all, who am I? I'm Neil. I'm one of the co-founders of Convertri. And if you've hung around in the Facebook group at all, then you might have seen me around. I'm the guy with the little shadow avatar that looks like that. Fun fact, neither of those shadows is actually me. There's a little bit of there's a little like sliver of a shadow on the left-hand side that I think is me. Like it's a picture of me and a load of my friends on holiday, but neither of those ones are mine. But if you see that little avatar, that is me. We've been doing Convertri for like 6 years now, almost, which is another very frightening thought. So what we are going to cover on this call, this is our like monthly update webinar. So it's basically like keeping you up to date on everything that's going on, like in Convertri land at the moment. So I'm going to talk about the new features that we've released in November. I'm going to talk about the stuff we've got coming up. So we're going to have a look at the stuff on the test server, and like looking at a couple of features which like they're not in the app yet, like they're not done, they haven't passed all the bug checks, that kind of thing, but they're quite a long way like on the way, and so we're expecting them to be released in December next month. I'm going to run you through like any other like Convertri things happening which I think you'll be interested in, and then like we'll just open the floor to like a general Q&A. So for any like general Convertri questions you've got, that's the point when we'll answer them. Like I said, if you've got any like questions on what I'm talking about at the time, like any of the features I'm actively demoing, I will try and cover them like at the point. So do feel free to like stick them in the Q&A as you think of them. Anything more general, like Steve, I see you're asking there about like what's the basic benefit of Convertri. All that stuff I'll get to just in the Q&A section at the end, just so we're not like derailing the main presentation too much. Cool. So let's get started. So first of all, new features that we've released in this month. Traditional way to start one of these. So obviously the biggest feature that we released happened at the beginning of the month. That was our funnel designer, like this whole new module of the app. And that's so it's got like Simulatory in brackets there because it was also released as a little standalone product called Simulatory. Obviously, if you've got a Convertri subscription, like that's all just rolled in. You just get that as part of Convertri. So we're going to go into that. But first, there's also a couple of other like smaller updates that we're going to look at. We have updated some of the shift drag behavior to try and make the editor a bit easier to use. We've updated some of the way the text boxes work for much the same reason. And we've also added Remobilizing Sections, which is something that people have been like asking for quite a little while. So, I mean, what we're certainly trying to focus on at the moment is trying to make the whole workflow with the editor just that bit smoother. So we're not looking to, like at the moment, certainly we're not looking to add like massive new like functionality like in the same way that we did with the funnel designer. What we're trying to do with these updates like shift drag and the remobilizing sections is just make like the bread and butter stuff of Convertri. So building the pages, just make it a lot smoother, a lot easier. So you save like a few seconds every time you build a page, but over the time of using Convertri, that adds up quite a lot. I know I've already like used all of these features an awful lot in the pages that I've been using, and I found it very useful. So let's have a look at how they work. Okay, so flick to a funnel, little November 2021 demo funnel. And let's go into this webinar reg page so we can show off the changes to the shift drag and the changes to the how the text elements work. So this is a it's a little template page, like template webinar registration page. So this is one of the ones that I think this one's available to like everyone who's got Convertri, regardless of what like account level you're on. And so we're using this as a as an example. And if I just switch on element outlines, you can see here how the page is constructed. And crucially, like all this stuff is like properly contained. That's important because one of the updates we've done to shift drag is made it respect containment. So Convertri will be looking for things like that are contained separately to decide whether or not to move them on a shift drag operation. So obviously, if you don't have all your elements like contained, then it could get a bit confused. But if you have things laid out or like the page constructed with all the containers as it should be, then like it should make things an awful lot easier. I mean, it should make things an awful lot easier anyway. It just works a lot better if you have these like containers in place. So shift drag, I can see there's a couple of people here who haven't actually used Convertri yet, like they're not fully like familiar with the app. So shift drag, what I'm talking about here is a feature which we added in to make it easier to like add new sections or add new bits into the page. So obviously with Convertri, you can move things around like this, like however you want. But let's say you're on this page and you're like, what I actually want is a countdown timer, like a countdown timer right at the top of the page. Moving everything down would be a bit of a pain. So we made it so if you select your top element, which in this case is that text element, you hit shift and you drag it down, it just moves everything like below it with it. Which means like you can drag that down, you can add your element in at the top, line it up again, and it's just a far, far easier way of rearranging your pages. However, before we did this update, shift drag would move elements, but it wouldn't affect the container that the element was in. So this backing image with the people in the audience there. So if you shifted drag, yeah, I'm not entirely sure how tenses work with that. If you used shift drag to move the all these elements down, they would move like out of this section, and they'd push it pushed this section down as well, so you wouldn't get overlaps. But you'd need to like manually resize your backing section here to basically fill up the right amount of space again. We've changed it so shift drag will automatically make these sections grow when you're moving it. So if we shift drag this text box now, you can see that backing section is growing with it. So again, you're not going to have to do that step manually anymore. Convertri will just automatically grow that section to keep your page arranged pretty much how you want it. The other thing we've made shift drag do, like I mentioned earlier, is respect containment. So you see here, we have one like little section over here with like the text and the bullets in there. We have another section here with the form. And if we used, let's say we wanted to like add a phone field on this form, we're like, okay, we're collecting first name, last name, and email. I actually want to collect the phone number as well, like of all the people who register. So if you were to shift drag before we did this update, then you'd probably do something like you'd click the email field because we want to get the phone, like the phone field between last name and email. So we'd shift drag that down to make a bit of space. But that would also move all these elements here. So like the enter your details here, these two bullets, because these are also like below that email element. Now you don't really want these moved because like the only things you want moved in this case are the elements inside this container. So we've made shift drag smart enough to understand that. It can see that like these things are in one container, these things are in a different container. And so if you're shift dragging an element over here, these ones probably shouldn't move. So what we can do now is hold down hold down Shift, drag email, and you can see we're making a space, we're expanding this section, and this one over here is just staying flat. And then we can just clone in another field. It's just far, far easier to do things, like in this case, growing that form. So those are the updates we've made to the shift drag behavior. Does anyone have any questions on that before I move on to the text element? I'll just give people a minute to get any questions in if they have them before we move on. Okay, cool. Looks like we're all fine on that one. Yeah, Liam, I think it's awesome as well. I say it's just made things so much easier. And yeah, Balash, am I saying your name right there? Apologies if I'm not. Yeah, Balash, I think it's done too. Urging, can you change the new box assigned to a data name for us? Yeah, I can show you how to do that. So obviously, okay, I'll just repeat this for anyone who doesn't know what I was doing there. So I cloned the form field that here is marked as last name. I clone that with a keyboard shortcut. I hold down the Alt key or Opt if you're on a Mac, and clone that as a new field or as a new input. Basically, what that will do is just clone it'll clone the entire element or anything contained within it. So it's a nice, easy way of repeating bits on your page, like these form fields. To change the data type and to change the name, we go into input properties. So we can change the placeholder text here. So we'll change that to phone number. We would if I could spell phone number. And then to change the type, we need to actually assign a form first. So let's do that. It's the problem when you're actually using demo pages. So cool. I'll just stick the thank you page as Google for now. So now we have an assigned field type. This one is last name. That's automatic because it's a last name field, and obviously I cloned it over. To change the assigned field type, we can just pick it from the list. And then when you're setting up the form, you can set a field in your autoresponder to also have a field type. And whatever field in your autoresponder you set to have the phone type, then you'll get the information from this input put in there. So that's how you do that. I hope that answered your question. Cool. So text elements. Again, now something that has, I think, it can be quite tricky, especially when you're using a template like this one is. Before we made this update, when you added extra text into an element, the element itself would grow, but it wouldn't affect anything else on the page. So I could add a load of text into this element, and you get all the text in there, but it would start to overlap. If it got big enough, it would start to overlap these other elements on the page. And then you'd have to move them down again manually or with a shift drag. We have changed it so that when the size of a text element changes in this way, so you've got an element like this, you've got it positioned, and now you're typing in text, it will actually adjust the position of elements underneath it as the text element changes in size. So if we say here, if you're a if you're a new entrepreneur, I can't spell anything today. If you're a new entrepreneur, watching this webinar could change your life. Now, obviously, this is like the same size the text box was before. You might have seen as I was doing that, when it was just a single line, these elements kind of popped up into place. And if we put it back, they go back down again. And what this means is like you can I'm not going to bother trying to look smooth anymore. I'm just going to like not use caps there. So you can see that these elements get pushed down the page. And again, it works just like the shift drag does. The sections also expand. So you can type in, and this works just as much if you're pasting in text as well. Like you can paste in a whole new load of text into this text box and it will push like everything down again. So if you've got your page like structured like this, or if you've got your page structure set up and you're editing the text in it, then you won't have to rearrange like your page like all over again, like just to accommodate the new text you put in there. And like I say, I think this is going to be particularly useful for templates where we've got the design like set up already. Because obviously you're far more likely to change text in those ones because you don't want lorem ipsum. Even when it's a template like this, when we've got like the template copy in there and you're swapping out stuff in brackets, like odds are you're going to add a couple of lines here and there. So yeah, I think that makes things quite a lot easier. So any questions on that one? Oh, something else I should mention first in the case. This is designed to affect things when you have a page like this that you're adding extra text into. At the moment we don't have it. So like if you're manually changing the size of the text box like this, like if you make it shrink, like that will still keep the text where it is, or it'll keep the other elements where they are. And the reason for this is we think it's far more likely that basically when you're doing stuff like this, you're going to be more like experimenting and you're more likely to be moving elements around your page in any case. And it could also be a bit distracting if like you're changing, like if you're changing the size of an element like this and have everything else on your page jump around while you do it. So we thought it was better to just have it when you are actively typing or pasting the text in. Obviously, if you guys try it and you think it'd be better the other way, then like do let us know and we can look at changing it. But like this is like in our testing, this is what we found was most useful. So this is how we've got it. Okay, and back to where I was before. Does anyone have any questions on this feature before we move on to the next one, which in this case is remobilizing sections? Well, how are you guys finding Zoom as well? I'm actually quite liking the chat here, like with everyone able to see it. It's got a nice kind of audience community feel to it. Not something we got with GoToWebinar. Cool. It's good to know that part at least is a hit. Okay, let's have a look at the next section. So wait, we'll leave that unsaved. We'll have a look at this other page for this one. So this feature is about let's say about remobilizing sections. If you are an old Convertri hand, you'll probably know pretty much, like, as soon as I've said that, the kind of thing I'm talking about. For all the new people here, a quick primer on how mobile works in Convertri is that obviously you can lay out your desktop page however you want. Like, you can do whatever you want with these things. And then Convertri will attempt to convert that into a mobile page. And it will do that by basically looking at the sections, looking at the elements, going like left to right, top to bottom, and then sticking them in on the mobile page in that order. And then you can also rearrange these however you want. So you can adjust the mobile page. You can adjust the mobile page so it looks good on mobile page without worrying about how desktop is going to look. Like, I can shift the company logo into, like, down on this section here. And if I go into desktop, like, it's still there, like desktop's left alone. And we also have a feature called Remobilize. So if you've added a load of new elements onto a page, or if you've done a load of work and you decide, actually, no, like, I liked it the way it was, I want to put it back, you can hit the Remobilize button and go back to Convertri's, like, automatic version. And yes, Steve, it will convert automatically to mobile. It'll always do an automatic mobile conversion. So let's say you get to adjust what Convertri does however you want, but it will give you an automatic version which you can also use. So with this page, now you can see we've done like a bit of work on the mobile view. Like, this isn't the entire automatic one that Convertri makes. We've adjusted things a little bit. Like, we have adjusted it so we've put these company logos, like company logo images, in a grid. If we go to the desktop view again, like, if you're an old Convertri hand, then you'll probably, like, basically know already, like, just from looking at this, how Convertri will do it. But it'll effectively put all these in a line. So, like, just 1, 1, 1, 1 in a row of 4, or a column of 4. I decided I wanted it in a grid, so I've adjusted it manually. And there's sections down here where we've got these images with the text. And I've adjusted these to make it consistent, because on the desktop view, this section has the text on the left and the image on the right for some, and the image on the left and the text on the right for others. Convertri is going to, like, read along left to right. And so on these ones, it's going to put the text at the top and the image on the bottom. This one is going to put the image on the top and the text on the bottom. I wanted them consistent, so I've done a bit of manual rearranging there. So we've done a bit of mobile adjustment. And in fact, if I hit the, like, Remobilize All button, like, you can see this is the automatic one that Convertri does. So you can see these company logos in a line. These images kind of together, because again, like, some go on top, some go on bottom based on that desktop arrangement. So I'll just undo that back. So previously, when you added new elements to a Convertri page, like after you'd adjusted the mobile view a bit, you would either have to arrange everything, like put them in the page where you wanted manually, or you would need to hit the, like, Remobilize button and have it undo your work, and you have to do that again. The new Remobilize Section feature means you don't have to do that. So if we have a look at this section here, so we've got the services section. We've got, we'll just flick back to desktop. You can see we've got 3, like, little services sections here. And so they're here on mobile. You've got 1, 2, 3. Now, let's say we want to increase this. We want to add another row of these. We want to get 6. So we make some space. Again, let's shift dragging that down. And obviously, like, on a real page, I might want, like, my own, like, custom icons or whatever, but in this case, I'm just going to clone these and stick these down there. So we've got our 6 in there on desktop. Just line those up nicely. Again, the element outlines are quite good for that. You can make sure you're on the right snap line. So desktop, easy game. However, if we go to mobile, like the elements aren't in the right place because Convertri doesn't know like precisely where we want to put them because we've already like made adjustments to this page. So rather than remobilizing the whole thing, we can select that backing section. We can hit Remobilize. We now have a Remobilize Section option down here. We'll click that. And you can see the rest of this page up here, like the company logos, all that, they haven't changed. But this section here now has all the new stuff in it. Like just that bit has been remobilized. The rest of the page has been left entirely alone. So that should make, again, adjusting your mobile view like after the fact should make it an awful lot easier. Now, this is something that currently works with full width sections. So you can't do it on absolutely everything. Like if the element isn't full width, then that's not going to be an option. I think that was probably a mistake. I think we're probably going to make it so you can just remobilize like any like panel like that you want. But at the moment, like even the full width, like even just having the full width sections, I think makes quite a big difference to using mobile on Convertri. Certainly when I've been adjusting some templates recently, I've used it like probably more than anything else. Okay, does anyone have any questions on that before we move on to the funnel designer, to Simulatory? Damien saying, would you change to full width and then back to get this feature right away in mobile? And actually, yes, you can do that. That's a little hack that I have been using on some of these sections. So you could, if you wanted, like if you take this section, if you make it full width, then you will have the Remobilize option, and then you can like default width it again if you want. It's not entirely perfect. Like generally, when you remobilize something, it goes to the standard remobilized width, which won't necessarily be the width that you've like want it if you've made manual adjustments. But even then, that's generally a rather easier thing to fix. So yes, so I have been doing that, and yes, you can do that as a little hack until that is in there. Jason's asking, where will the recording be to watch again? That will be available in our knowledge base. Let me see if I can. I think I can just type in here as well. What I'll do is I'll get to the. So this is our knowledge base, help.convertri.com. We have a section down here on training webinars. I'm probably going to separate these out. So there's like a special section for update webinars, but certainly at the moment, like this is where they get added. So here we've got like the July update, the August, September, October, like they're all in there. This one will be going in there as well once the recording's up. So assuming the recording works fine, which I mean these things usually are usually fine. Then it will go in there again, probably Monday or Tuesday, and that is where that will live. Craig's saying, if you add an item, it would appear on the bottom of the mobile version. Is that still the case? Yes, that's still the case. It'll still go like in the bottom if you've already made adjustments to the mobile view. So that's where Convertri will put it by default. But if you use if you've added an item into a section and then you use Remobilize Section on that section, then Convertri will like take it from the bottom and put it in the right place. So you'll need to do that little Remobilize step, but it will, like, you can make Convertri stick it in there automatically without affecting the rest of the page. Okay, let's crack on, have a look at the funnel designer. So this is something we were working on for, oh God, I don't even know, months, absolutely months. If you're a regular at these webinars, then you probably would have seen it in the coming soon section since like September, I think was the first time I started talking about it. So you might have seen it kind of build up. But now it is live, it is in the app. And so we have a brand new section up here in the campaign section called Funnel Designer. And we've tried to make this work like pretty much like as close to how the rest of Convertri does as we can. So this section works just like the funnel screen. The designer itself works very much like the editor. Like we're trying to make it so you can pick it up really quickly. So let me run you through how all this works. So first thing you'll do is, there's an import button. You can do like share code, share links with all these designs as well. You can share those just like you can pages. To create one, click on the create button. We have a set of templates, like we've got 9 here. These are all designed for like different things you might want to sell. So there's like a basic lead gen funnel. There's a subscription funnel, a funnel to use if you're going to be like, if you're trying to be like a consultant, like trying to go for a high ticket sale. So you can go on preview for these and see like what the funnel looks like. And there's a quick description at the top of like how we would use it. What we're going to do here, because I think it's the best way of showing it off, is to create a new design from scratch. So this is the canvas. And again, if you've ever used the Convertri editor, you'll find this very familiar. You know, you can add on your elements, you move these around, you drop them wherever you want. We have a grid system, which I generally prefer to use. Basically, these work similar to snap lines. Like if you pick an element up, you drop it like somewhere on the grid, it'll kind of snap to the nearest grid lines when you drop it. And I quite like using it because I think it just makes it easier to like design like nicely laid out funnels. So to design a funnel out, you can drag your pages on. We've got 11 different page types. So it's like opt-in, application, content, sales page. So most of what you're going to find in a funnel will be here. So let's have a sales page, let's have an upsell. And we'll probably want a delivery page as well. Should probably find some way of giving people their products. You can connect all these up. Click on the little green dot on the right of the page. Click on the page you want to connect it to. You can also add in traffic sources. So let's say we're going to have some paid traffic and some organic traffic into this one. And we also have an autoresponder option, and we've got webinars as well. You can drag a webinar onto a page that comes with its own like little checkout page element, because obviously like you need to send someone from the webinar to a checkout page to actually buy the item. Of course, if you've already got your checkout page in the map, then you can delete it. Like standard keyboard shortcuts work just fine for this. Let's have an autoresponder. Stick you in there. You can send people to multiple places. So you can model, say, someone goes from the opt-in page, like when they sign in or when they sign up. In this case, they get sent directly to the sales page, but they're also going to get added to this autoresponder. So we can send them back, like if they don't buy. So this is quite useful for like mapping out the different stages of your funnel, like getting it straight in your head, what you want to build and what you're going to do with it. Also quite useful if you're like selling funnels to clients. We've got quite a neat like proposal feature for that, which I will get to like in a bit. But this is yeah, it's a nice way of getting the, let's say, I find it's a nice way of getting everything straight in your head. But the really key part with it is that like it's not just a designer, it's also a simulator. So you can put in like your expected like conversion rates and traffic costs and see like, is this actually going to make me money? Like, do I need to adjust this before I start like doing some proper work on it? So let me show you how that works. So let's start out with the opt-in page. Let's say we'll get 40% conversions on this page. Again, just some like demo numbers so you can see how the flow works. Sales page, we can attach a product to a sales page. So click on choose product and add that. You can create a new product like directly from this page or like directly from this screen if you want. If you click on the arrow here for the select product, this will also it will give you a list of all the products you currently have set up in Convertri. So if you've got like your product already set up and already being used, then you don't need to like add all the details again. You can just select it from here. So we've got a couple of dog products here. Let's do a dog funnel. So keep your dog happy and healthy. The price again is pulled in like from what you've set in Convertri. You can adjust it per page. So it's not like it's fixed there. It's not like fixed. We can adjust that to say 17. Oh, sorry, that's adjusted per design. Sorry, not per page. So we'll apply that. We'll say it's a bit more expensive again for this example. And hit that as OK. And now I've attached that product to the page. You can see it's taken the product name. So you can more easily see, you can more easily keep track of what sales page is for what. Do the same thing with the upsell page. Obviously, you can give it your own name as well if you want. Again, just like naming a Convertri element. Stick the product on there. We had a dog collar. The cost of sale box here is basically to say like if you're selling like a physical product that's got a cost of fulfillment, then you can say like, okay, the price is $7, but it's going to cost me $2 like to fulfill this one. So you can add that like in there as well if you want, and that will be taken into account in the in the simulation. Jason's asking, does the ad products work for an affiliate product? Yes, you can set up commission rates as well. You set that on the traffic source. I'll show you how to do that in a sec. In fact, I'll show you how to do that now because we've added the things that say a 30% conversion rate on the upsell. Why not? So you can set on a traffic source. Each traffic source has like different parameters depending on what type it is. So this is pay traffic, so you can set like cost per click, number of clicks generated per day, and again, the commission rate. So if it's an affiliate traffic source, like if you're getting affiliate traffic in, then you can say like any sales made from this particular traffic source, like these get 50% commission paid on them, or 20% or 30%, like whatever you're giving like that affiliate. So you can do that and have the funnel designer like take these into account. And in fact, we'll That'd actually be a good example. When I show you the scenarios, I'll do a scenario which is adding a bit of affiliate traffic in there so you can see how that bit works. But for now, let's say $1 per click and 50 clicks generated per day. And I'm not trying to say that these numbers are realistic, although I'm just like putting some numbers in there so you can see how everything works together. So we've got $1 per click, 50 clicks per day on the organic traffic. Let's say there's no cost per click on that one because it's organic. Like maybe it's coming from your website, maybe it's coming from SEO, like but you're not paying for the clicks directly. Let's say you're getting 10 clicks per day from organic as well. And we forgot to set a conversion rate on the sales page. Say 10%. Maybe let's be a bit more generous. Let's say 15. I think we're better at conversions than that. So here we can see these numbers represent like a 30-day projection in the funnel. So we've said like 50 clicks a day from paid, 10 clicks from organic. So that's 1,800 hits over 30 days, which means 720 conversions. Oh, we need a conversion rate on the autoresponder as well. Let's say 40 again. So again, conversion rate on an autoresponder, basically saying, okay, this number of people who go on the autoresponder are going to click one of my links and go to the page. So you can see how many hits we're expecting on the sales page over that period. You can see how many conversions you're getting, and then how many like hits on the upsell, how many conversions from that. So we're going to want to send the people who don't buy the upsell, they're going to want to go to the delivery page as well. So we've got the no thanks link for that. The default for the no thanks link is it just sends like everyone who didn't do the main conversion. But you can adjust this if you want. If you go into the conversions tab, there's a toggle here for like treat all of them as no thanks, or like you can adjust the number. So you can account for like people who just close the page as opposed to click a thing if you want. And once you've set up your funnel, you can hit the simulate button up here, and you'll get an idea of how much profit you're expecting to make, like over that period. So you can see here, we're expecting like just under $3,000 in revenue. 1,500 is on traffic spend. So we're getting about that much of profit. And you can see how many leads, buyers, and subscribers, which are recurring products. Like if someone buys a recurring product, then they're a subscriber. We don't have any recurring products in this funnel. So you're not getting any of those here. But you can see the lead cost, you can see the buyer cost, you can see how much like profit you're expecting from each of your products. So you can get quite a lot of details like based on your expectations. Of course, expectations don't always work out. So you can set up different scenarios as well to see like different, or to test different ideas. So let's create another scenario. Let's call this optimistic. Shall we be optimistic? I think we should be optimistic. It's winter. We could do a cheering up. So we're going to create an optimistic scenario, which is basically going to be us saying, okay, like that's what we expect, but what if it goes really well? Like what if traffic's a bit cheaper? What if conversions are a bit better? So now we're in the optimistic scenario. We'll say, okay, let's say traffic was 50 cents, like rather than dollar. And maybe the opt-in page converts at 50%. And let's add one for the affiliate as well. So we were on the optimistic scenario when we created this new one. So that will have kept all of those settings that we added. And we can either keep those or put them back, or like we could go back to the original scenario and create a new scenario based off that to keep the old numbers if we wanted. Well, let's put them back for now. So we'll put those numbers back, and let's say, like, instead of adjusting that, let's add an affiliate. So we're going to have an email affiliate. They're going to drive traffic straight to the sales page. They're going to drive 50 clicks a day. Let's say 50 clicks a day. And we're going to pay them 50% commission. Now, again, like you can look at the basic simulation for any of these scenarios and see how much revenue and profit they're bringing in. But it's often easier to see these things side by side. So for that, we have a projection screen. So if we click on, we'll just save that, we'll click on close. Go into projections. And see, this is currently projections for that original scenario. You can see you've got revenue, you've got the profit, which is a little bit more bumpy because you don't make sales every day. Clicks, again, linear, as is leads. And you can check buyers and subscribers. Again, subscribers are 0 because we don't have any recurring products in this funnel. But we can also see these scenarios side by side as we do it. So if we add the optimistic one, we can see we're making rather more revenue from that. We add the affiliate, we're making a ton more revenue from that one. Like the affiliate is driving a load of sales. If we check profit, then again, you can see what the difference is. And here, the affiliate is still the best scenario here. But the difference isn't as much because we're paying that 50% in commission. So you can tell what the actual difference is going to be under different circumstances. And what I tend to find that useful for is if I've built a funnel plan out, then there's always more you can do. If you've got a funnel up and running, or even when you're just thinking about it, there's always more you can do, and there's always not enough hours in the day. So you can look at the projections here and see is it more worth my time to add an extra upsell in or work on the front end conversions? Is it more worth my time to go out recruiting more affiliates or improving or just getting more value from the customers I'm getting, adding extra upsells, downsells? And this can give you an idea of where the best what the best approach is going to be. Based on your assumptions, which of these is going to make you more money overall. And you can find that out before you do it, which I think is quite cool. So there are other metrics you can get as well. You can see how much profit you're generating from each traffic type. You can see the click revenue from the different traffic types. Obviously, at the moment, we're looking at the original scenario. If we switch it to the affiliate one, then you can see the email traffic is in there as well. You can see how much revenue you're making from the products, how much earnings per click and lead value. Again, which is pretty useful because you get an idea of how much you can afford to pay for a lead. And the overall stats for the funnel itself. So this is something that I think is as a planning tool, I think that's quite a useful thing. A lot of people as well, they told us that they were more building funnels for clients than they were for themselves. So we wanted to add in something that would support that. So we also have a proposal generation screen, which you can access by clicking that generate proposal button there. And this will let you add in, basically you add in a load of details and it will auto-generate a proposal for you. There is a structure built in, that's the kind of structure that is good for, that's generally just good and safe for putting a good proposal together. So obviously there's details you can add on the cover page and you can upload your own logo. So you have a section on what the problem you're solving is, like for your potential client, the solution that you propose. You can show the funnel layout, so the layout of the like the diagram of the funnel you're proposing to build them. There's a key point section, so you can pick out particular things like, opt-in page here is going to gather the leads, like we're going to do a lead magnet about like this thing, like to attract people in, all that kind of thing. So space for 5 of them. You can add in the projections graph, so the revenue graph over an amount of time. Default is 30 days, but you can pick whatever time frame you want. So you can show like with this plan, this is how much money you can expect to make. You can add in extra scenarios as well if you want. Quite a good thing for that one is to have like your basic scenario with the numbers you expect, and also have like an optimistic version and a pessimistic version, so they can see what happens if it goes really well, and also what will happen if like maybe conversions aren't as good as you think, like maybe traffic will cost a bit more. You can add that as a scenario and show them that they're still going to make money like with your plan, which is quite a just as a client, it's quite good to have the person who's pitching you. It's just good to know they've thought about that. They're not they're not just like high on like assuming that everything's going to be wonderful. Like they've actually thought like what's it going to be like if things don't go as well. Like that's a really compelling thing, I think. And a next step section as well, where you can put in like, here's how you contact me, like here's how you get a quote, this is when we can get it done by. You don't have to use all these sections. Basically, if you leave any part of this entirely blank, it just won't be included. But if you put them all in there, like that makes quite a good compelling document. I'm not going to type a load of stuff out. Like I'm not going to make you watch that, but I do have one I prepared earlier. Well, I have one Beth prepared earlier. So this is how the proposal will look like when it's generated. So you have the problem section, the solution. Beth's got her funnel diagram in there. Key points, the projections graph, again with notes like explaining like precisely what that means, and then the next steps where you can be like send an email here to get a quote, like that kind of thing. And basically you push that button and you'll just get the PDF like automatically downloaded onto your machine. And it just makes you look like nice and professional, I think. So for anyone who is like after doing this kind of thing for clients, I think you'll like that quite a lot. Now I'll have a swig of water before carrying on. Okay, I was about to ask if there are any other questions, but there's actually one very cool thing with the funnel designer I haven't shown you yet. So we'll do that, and then we'll see if there's any other questions on this. Because we've also added like a tie-in to Convertri itself. Like it's not like designed to be like just sat as a separate thing. Like we've actually built it in like to the app. So if we get our sales page up, and what you can do is you can actually have Convertri, like when you've designed your funnel, you can have Convertri generate it for you. So if we we go through these, you might have noticed the page type option here. So there's like different types of opt-in you can have for like single 2-step video, so a video opt-in. There's different sales page types like info, software, VSL, or book. Different upsell types. Let's say we don't actually have one for a leather dog collar. Let's call that a membership. And then the delivery page is just like the delivery page. We don't have like separate types for all of them, but a lot of pages have separate types you can set. And if you do that, set that up, we'll save that. Then we hit the build button. I'm going to choose a domain. We'll go to my demo. We'll call that my dog funnel. We'll choose a theme. Let's what one's nice? Let's go with Skyline. So we'll select that and hit build. And Convertri will put these pages together. So these are all here, they're ready to use. Design is obviously, I mean, the design's the design, that's obviously done for you. It's also using a load of copy templates, like based on the type of page of product that you selected. So you can take you can enter your page, you can basically take these sections, like swap them out, like fill in the blanks. So in this case, that might be something like dog owners. And that just makes getting your page up and live an awful lot easier. And of course, you don't have to like stick to the templates you've got. Like this is all in Convertri. Like you can do everything with these pages that you could do with a normal Convertri page. You can rip out everything we've done and put in all your own stuff if you want. This is just there to make it like easier, like to get you up and running. And let's say like we picked an info product for the sales page. So this template is going to be based around an info product. If we'd picked the software page, it would have been a template designed for a software product. So there's quite a lot of combinations of stuff you can use to get up and running very fast. So yeah, that's honestly, that's probably my favorite feature of the whole thing. I like that one very much. So yes, does anyone have any questions on the funnel designer? After this, we've got a couple of quick little things to show, just like the stuff that's coming up, little bits on the test server, and then we'll just be opening it up to like general Q&A. But if anyone has any questions on the funnel designer, we can have a look at those now. And I'm going to take the opportunity to have another drink while you think. John, I think it just said you raised a hand. There. If you've got a question, stick it in the Q&A box or the chat box if it's about the funnel designer, and I can run through anything you want to know. Will this be available as a recording? Yes, but I mean, we are recording it. As long as that recording works all right, which they do like 99% of the time. Like I think in like all the time we've been doing these webinars, we've had like one recording screw up that ended up not being very good. But as long as that works fine, yes, there'll be a replay that will go in the knowledge base in this section here for training webinars. I'll just stick that in the, I think it's in the chat a bit up there, but I'll stick it in there again, just so you've got it. So yeah, so that'll be available as a recording. You'll be able to watch it whenever you want. It'll probably go up on Monday or Tuesday next week. That's normally when they go live. Okay, let's have a look at the new stuff then. So obviously everything you've seen so far, that is in the app at the moment, like that's there right now. What I'm about to show you, we're going to switch over to the test server, which is this one here. You can mostly tell it's the test server because it's got all my pages full of crap in there. But this is basically this is like, we call it the test server because it's where we do all our testing. Like this is where the devs put the features that like they think are fine, but we haven't checked properly yet. So like this, our test team will be going through them and like checking them as much as they can, making sure there's no bugs. If they do find a bug, then logging it and getting the dev to fix it before it goes in the proper app, like all this kind of stuff. And so a feature on the test server is like it's there, it's working, but it might still be buggy, like because like the fact it's here means we haven't like gone through the whole process yet. So it's possible we'll find something new and unexpected here, but it'll probably be fine. So I've got a couple of things to show you with this one. And these are, again, both features which are designed to like just make that the editor that little bit easier to use. You know, trying to make your workflow just a bit smoother when you're building pages. So first one of these is a feature about the snap lines. Now the snap lines, if I move them on these around, you can see you've got that like little shaded area between the actual snap line and the element. And that is like a 10 pixel gap. It's designed to make things like nice and easy to evenly space. And it works fine as long as you want a 10 pixel spacing. You know, if you want different spacing, then at the moment you're a bit out of luck. But that is what we are changing with this feature. So if we just shift these around a bit, we are adding a new thing. It'll go into the display menu, and you can actually set that space between snap lines for yourself. So let's set that to 50 pixels. And what this will do now is you can see that space is so much wider. In fact, it's now like 5 times as wide. It's 50 pixels wide as opposed to 10. And that means like we can now easily space these things with 50 pixel gaps between them. And that means you can set your that distance to like the amount of spacing you want for the elements on your page. And you can use that to space your elements out. And you can either keep it for the whole page, like if you want the entire page like that, or if you just kind of want to lay out a section in this way, then you can change your snap lines while you're working on it. And when you're done, come back, hit restore default snap lines, and it'll be back to 10 pixels again. So again, this is, people have been asking for something that will make it easier to lay out elements in that way. We think this will help. We think this will help with that an awful lot. So this will probably come out, like anything that you're seeing on the test server now will probably come out in the next like 2 to 3 weeks, depending on how the bug testing goes. But that's when, like, that's roughly when you could expect to see that kind of thing in the app. The other feature that is coming up, we are adjusting the mobile algorithm to be a bit less rigid on containment. So if I stick a panel in here to show you what I mean. So let's make that let's make it red. Let's be Christmassy. And in fact, let's do it in the top left. That's probably a bit easier for people to see on the bottom right of the screen. So the way mobile works on containment is that if an element is like contained by another one, like in desktop, then it will be on mobile as well. So if we stick this red panel like inside the green one, and we go to the mobile view, you'll see it's been put inside like that. Now, at the moment, this is like it's very rigid, it's very fixed. The element has to be exactly contained. Otherwise, that won't work. And this is generally fine, but you can often have some kind of page constructions where you can have like an element like 2 pixels like off the edge, like that one. And you think it's contained, but it's not. And that leads to mobile going a bit weird. There's no sense in me showing that because that's actually what we changed. What we have done is made it so, or what we will be doing once this goes into the app, is making it so that the mobile containment has like a bit of flex around it. So as long as this element or this element edge here is no more than 10 pixels away from the edge of the one behind, for mobilization purposes, it'll be assumed it's contained. So as you just saw there, like this element is not contained in here at the moment, but on mobile, it's put inside that element. And this should make it an awful lot easier basically, it'll just make it a lot more forgiving. You know, if you've got elements where you're trying to line it up, like on the edge, and like you've got it a little bit wrong, it's like 1 pixel off. This will keep it contained on mobile view, so it'll still give you the effect you want. And we think again that'll just make lives like quite a lot easier when you're trying to get your mobile page right. So again, these are a couple of things that's coming up. Not in the app yet, probably will be in the next couple of weeks, depending on how the test section goes. And so that is it in terms of features. If we just switch back, quickly go through what else is happening. So again, just generally going through like any other interesting things that are happening like in Convertri land at the moment. Main thing to talk about this time is that on, I think it was last Thursday. Jane, our client success champ, she ran a physical products webinar, or like a webinar where she was running through how to create a physical product funnel in Convertri. So she showed you how to like set up all the products. She showed you how to like put the pages together. Showed you how to like manage the inventory and the fulfillment like of the item. Showed you how to like hook all the pages together so that when someone like buys this product, they get automatically redirected to the upsell. So she did that webinar last Thursday, really popular. It is up in the knowledge base now. It's at this URL, which again I'll stick in the chat for anyone who wants to go have a look. In fact, if we go to the training webinars, we can probably see it. Yeah, there we are. So how to create a physical product store. So that is up in the knowledge base, ready for you to watch whenever you want. And if you are like even slightly interested in doing this kind of thing, I do encourage you to go have a look and see how everything is done. And that is about it. So we'll flip to the general Q&A. Like I said, this is for like any questions you got about Convertri, whether it's something you just saw, whether it's like maybe it's a feature you're interested in, like maybe you want me to demo something that you're not sure how to do. I'm happy to sit here and answer like as many questions as you want, basically until my voice runs out. So let's have a look at the couple which have come in the Q&A box already. So I'm not sure. Can you guys see the questions that are in the Q&A box, or is that just me on this one? Oh, either way, Steve. I see, whether it's sent to the host or everyone. Okay. Okay, so Steve has asked, what is the basic benefit of Convertri? Well, I mean, there's quite a few, really. Like the one that I always go on about, and the one that is like the core USP, I guess, is the page speed. We have always been trying to build pages as fast, like that load as fast as we possibly can. It's something like, particularly with platforms like WordPress, you can do some pretty good things with WordPress. There are some good, reasonably fast WordPress themes. But the problem with using like a WordPress site for this kind of thing is that even when the theme is like hella quick, it still has to load all of WordPress before it can do anything. With us, that's like taken out of the equation, and we've done, like, quite apart from all that, we've also like we do a ton of image optimization. We do a load of code optimization. Our servers are tweaked like, I mean, it's like something on an F1 track. It's like just moved blisteringly fast. Obviously, we've set up our own CDN, like so pages are delivered like from a close point wherever you are in the world. And so we've tried to make our pages load like as fast as we possibly can, and that has a significant impact on conversions, which is really what we're all after. I think you just get better results from a page when it's faster to load. Like in our tests, we've seen like 25% conversion boosts, basically building the same page on Convertri and like not. I think some people have like done page speed experiments, which have shown even more. But that's what I would say our core benefit is. A lot of people like other things about us. Like a lot of people like the freeform aspect, like rather than the more blocky version that a lot of builders have. Some people go for the integration of a few different services, like having like video hosting on site, that kind of thing. And I think, and some people I'm sure just think we're lovely people. But page speed is the one that I would go for if I was picking like a single thing to try and sell you on it. Daniel is asking, if you're a newbie, how far back do you recommend we go in the training and the knowledge base to get caught up for this one? Like, at what point is it redundant for earlier updates? Because most of the videos in the knowledge base are still fine, but like we try to keep them like up to date. Like the bits that are like might look different generally don't look very much different. So in the knowledge base here, so all the videos on like individual features that we have here, like I mean, how to set product coupons, like all this kind of thing. These should all be like still good. Like everything you see in here should still be up to date. Obviously, if you find one that doesn't match the app, then like do contact support and let them know. They're generally pretty quick about like getting these things updated when they're found. But pretty much everything in here will still be fine. In terms of the training webinars, like a lot of these are about doing like specific things. So they're still good. Like you definitely don't need to watch all of them like to get up to speed on Convertri. Like if you're looking for something for that, then probably going to the crash course is the best way of doing that. That's like a little training course that we've put together, and like it's available to everyone. Like everyone who's got a Convertri account can use that. If you go to account and then resources, then there's an option here called Convertri Crash Course. You can open that. In fact, I'll stick that link in the chat box as well. And that will teach you how to use the editor itself. This is definitely very up to date. Like Jane went through this and updated everything. Like I think it was like a month ago, maybe 2. So this is still very, very current. In terms of the training webinars, like pretty much everything in here should still be good. So it's just a matter of working out like what are you interested in? Like if you want to know how to build websites, then there's a webinar here on website building. If you want to know how to sell physical products, then you can check Jane's one from last week. There's a couple here from some expert Convertri users as well, which are pretty good. Darren's got some amazing stuff about building directories. He's doing stuff with Convertri I didn't even know was possible. Jim Jim's done some amazing work building a business up with Convertri. He's got a couple of webinars here on how he did it. So Catherine, download book to update via your ebook service. Oh, sorry, I was having a bit of trouble passing the question there. I think that's in the crash course, but that can also be. I think there's also like a little video in the knowledge base itself, which should cover you fine. See if we can find that. There, how to add a file for download. There, so that this training video here. Again, I'll just stick that in the chat box. that should explain how to use our like download file system. So you can stick that on your delivery page, and it will you will be able to like let people download your ebooks via that. Steve's asking, can you use WordPress and Convertri combined, or is it one or the other? You can definitely use them combined. The way, I mean, in fact, like we do as well. Like if you go to our website, I'll open yet another tab on here. So maybe we don't have it linked on there anymore. We certainly used to have a blog linked on this page, which I thought was still there, but apparently not. But our blog is also on WordPress, and that's set up on blog.convertri.com. So again, this is a WordPress blog because Convertri isn't particularly good for blogs. But Beth adds some new stuff to this like every week. And it's got like our update notes on there as well. And that is done by basically putting the blog on a subdomain and the main site on Convertri. It doesn't have to be that way around. A lot of people like have their main site on WordPress and do the Convertri pages on a subdomain. If you want to know how to set that up, again, we have a video for that. That will be in the custom domain section. So again, if that's something you're interested in doing, basically go to the like training page that I've just stuck in the chat box, and that will walk you through the different ways of using like Convertri with custom domains. And there's a video there. If you're going to use it with WordPress, then you probably want the one for CNAME, so this middle one here. And there's a full video there on how you can set it up. Russ is asking, please have the replay up for this weekend or as soon as possible. Yeah, it'll definitely be up as soon as possible. Can't promise the weekend, but it should be early next week at the very latest. Okay, do we have any other questions? Cool, thanks, Steve. It's good to have you here. Cool, thanks, guys. I'm glad it was useful. Ingrid, you've put a link in the question chat. What's the question you've got with that? Jason, can you explain when best to use a subdomain with WordPress? So generally, this will depend on the setup that you want. What quite a lot of people do is they have their main website, like their shop front, I guess, their main landing page, like the www.theirsite.com. That will be on WordPress. Like they like having the site there. They like having the blog section up front and center. And then they will put their sales pages, their sales funnels, on a Convertri subdomain of that. So that's that's one fairly common way of doing it. So setting up a subdomain for your Convertri sales pages and having like your main public facing site on WordPress. The alternative option is to do what we do, which is basically the other way around, which is have your main site on Convertri. Like we've built a website using it, and which like you can absolutely do that. A lot of people have built websites with Convertri. Some people prefer to have just like a fast landing page that's all about them, and then have their blog on a subdomain. So they set up WordPress on the subdomain and Convertri on the main one. And both these approaches are fine. I'm not sure there's a better one out of the two. It's really just about like what you're trying to achieve. But certainly, if you want to use like a blog as part of your like marketing stack, I guess, like as part of your funnel, that's the kind of thing Convertri isn't very good at. So building WordPress in, like to use it for that, which it is really good at, that's generally quite a good idea. I'm very sorry. I'm going to absolutely mangle this name. Zakuzwa. I hope I got that at least like semi right. Where can you find the training? It will go in the training webinar section of the knowledge base when we've got the recording up. Do I still have that open? That's down here. So I'll stick this in the chat. There you go. So the recording will go up there. Probably early next week. We might have it up there sooner. But as long as the replay works fine, that's where it will go, and there'll be a link out to it in the next update email. Oh, so sorry, Ingrid, I forgot to scroll the questions box. I didn't see a question there. Do you have special features for affiliates coming up? Is there anything in particular you're after? I mean, you can use like pretty much all of Convertri's features, whether you're an affiliate or a vendor. We don't currently have plans to add an affiliate module to the cart. Like it could well happen in the future. It won't be happening. Like it certainly won't be happening in the next quarter. Is there something like specific that you've got, like something specific that you've got in mind? Okay, well, obviously, if you do come up with, like, if you're thinking like I'm here, I'm an affiliate, and I really wish Convertri could do this thing for me, like email it, like email the idea into our support desk. Like we certainly can't promise to like go out and build all the things that people want us to build because there aren't enough hours in the day or developers in the world. But like with all this stuff, like it all goes on our ideas board. Like, well, when we are coming to work out like what else we're going to add into the app, like that's where we get the ideas. Like they all come from things that, I mean, pretty much everything that you've seen here is like based on an idea that one of our users suggested. So Catherine, does Canva integrate into Convertri? There's not a direct integration, but you can use any image that you've made in Canva in Convertri. Like if we go to So you can add in like any of your own images. So if you've made an image in Canva, you can basically just drag it on from your desktop. It will upload here. Not sure if I've got a, see if I've got an example laying around that I can show you for. That looks like an image. So I just had the Dynamic take up like half the screen. So hope that didn't overlay you guys too much. So yeah, so this is a so that as an example, that's a picture I took like a couple of weeks ago, going around the park with my camera, and that's now there in on Convertri. So you can upload any of your own stuff. Like you're not limited to like what we've put in there, and you can get those from Canva or indeed anywhere else. Okay, any other questions? Okay, looks like we're pretty much done. I'll hang around for another couple of minutes in case anyone's got anything else they think up. But yeah, otherwise, thank you very much, everyone, for coming along. I hope you were I hope it was useful. I hope you were like interested in the stuff that's coming up, and the stuff that we've added. Like, I mean, particularly the funnel design. That's been a huge amount of work, and I mean, I certainly find it useful. I hope you guys will as well. Yeah, we do try and make a point of keeping people up to date on what we're doing. I mean, as much as anything else, like it keeps us honest in a way. We've got to find some we've got to develop some new things. Like we've got to keep moving. We've got to keep doing something useful to you, just so we've got something to talk about here. And that's it's quite a useful thing for us as a company as well. So I'm glad you get value out of it. Thank you, Liam. I absolutely agree. Okay, that. Oh no, I was about to say that looks like it, but Craig jumped in right at the last minute. Any plans to build in a Convertri autoresponder? Right now, again, certainly not in the short term. This kind of thing, it's the kind of thing that me and Andy, my business partner, we talk about this quite a lot and kind of go back and forth on it. Because we can do, basically, there's two paths you can take. Like, as a company like us, there's two paths you can take with this kind of thing. Like, you can work on making your core thing as good as possible, or you can go wide, I guess, rather than deep, and be a bit more full stack. So adding in an autoresponder, maybe membership sites, maybe all this other stuff. And both have advantages and disadvantages. It's obviously lovely to have the entire thing nicely integrated in one place. Like if we could have integrations for all this stuff, like we do with the funnel designer and with Convertri, like the main app. The problem for us is that tends to spread the team we've got very thin, And so it's very hard to do. It's very hard to do a very good job on all the different components. The more of those components you have, so maybe I'm afraid is the answer there, which I'm aware is not very helpful. But yeah, it might happen in the future. It's certainly not something coming up in the short term, but never say never. Okay, I think that's it then. So yeah, like I said, thank you very much everyone for coming along. We given like it's going to be Christmas and the New Year, we probably won't be doing another one of these at the end of December. We will be doing another one at the end of January. Clearly, that will be a bumper edition in that one because we'll have 2 months worth of stuff to talk about. We do have another webinar coming up. Jane is going to be doing a webinar that we think is going to be like doing a deep dive on the funnel designer, like going into it in rather more detail, like than I did today. And she's also got a couple of funnels that she's putting together, which she's going to walk you through as examples for different things you can do. She showed me the one that she's developing for consultants today. Like, looks really good. I think you'll find it really useful. So you'll get walked through like that entire funnel on the call. You'll see her like build it out in Simulatory or in the funnel designer. And we can probably work out a way to get you the actual share code so you can take the funnel home with you as well, like if you come along. So that will be happening probably in 2 weeks. So probably on the 16th. So with any luck, we will see you there. I'm sure you'll find it incredibly useful. And until then, have a great December, have a happy Christmas, have a great New Year. And I'll see you in the Facebook group tomorrow, no doubt. Thanks very much, guys.